But again, there's no regulations to say yes or no because there's no testing. Most of them come from overseas. We do have Tom's Jewel is a U.S. brand, so Jewel is made in the U.S. And I did tell you that big tobacco is involved. Here are some of the side effects of these devices malfunctioning. We have seen an increase at Ronald Johnson Hospital in New Brunswick. In New York, just 2 months ago, we had a young man who had it in his pocket. It exploded, overheated, exploded. He has to have skin grafts on his legs to fix the burn. We have had in Freehold Mall last summer, a girl's purse explode in the middle of the mall. So again, I just show you this, definitely legs, hands, and definitely your face if your device is out there and malfunctions. This little website here, I told you New Jersey is pretty progressive. Hashtag don't get vaped in is New Jersey's actually vaping site. We actually, the state of New Jersey has its own vaping site. And I want you to understand when I say progressive, we go to conferences and trainings. Some of my coworkers were in Washington, D.C. last month talking about what we're working on, our coalition and our company, and we're talking about changing vaping policies, helping schools change their vaping policies. And the people in Kentucky were like, vaping, we're just worried about them not even having chew in high school. Very different ones, okay? So we're leaps and bounds ahead of most states who are talking about prevention. Here's the other argument that I told you about, water and flavoring. It's just water and flavoring. When asked, 52% of students, high school students, say that's what's in there. I wish I could stand in front of you and say 4,000 chemicals, 200 cancer causing like I can for tobacco products. We don't have all of that information. The small amounts of information that we have do not look good. Okay, so we do know for sure formaldehyde, so when this fluid is being heated in these devices, it turns into formaldehyde, which is a preserving agent, which inside internally is cancer causing. We do know that there are other cancer causing agents that are in these products. We do know lead is present in many of them. We know that this chemical diacetyl, which is primarily in these fruit flavored dessert candy flavors that young people will be more drawn to, that is a flavoring agent that when you ingest it, does not do the same thing as when you inhale it. I'll share with you in a minute what can happen. Heavy metals, mercury, lead, nickel, tin, all of those, which are dangerous in your body, and again, those nicotine content. So that little box that I kind of handed around to you guys, right? It was a 30 ml. I want to understand those. All right, what's that number?
6 and 6.
Yeah, so it's 6 milligrams. If you looked at it, you might think that was the whole bottle of this 30 ml. What it actually means is it's 6 milligrams of nicotine per milliliter. So in this refillable, so you can see how much that is, that's that much right there. It's not a ton. So when we do the math, 30 ml, 6 mg equals 6,000 puffs, 600 cigarettes, or 30 packs of cigarettes in this bottle. Okay, this bottle cost about, when we bought it, it was $27. That's less than $1 a pack. So again, young people will definitely be drawn to vaping because economically it's a lot cheaper for them to use this product. Can you get milligrams of tobacco, of nicotine higher? Absolutely. Okay, so most vape shops will have their own custom bar where you can create your own flavor and also the amount of nicotine that you're putting into it. Now when we talk about that one-time use device back before, I hold this up to you because if this was in a kid's backpack, this was on a kid's desk, you might pass it and not even look at it. One of these are a vape, 2 of these are pets. Okay, this one here is the one-time use device. What's important to know about this, yes, so this one-time device has about 800 inhales in it. So lots of young people say, oh, we'll use one device, how bad can it be? Scientifically, it only takes 100 inhales of nicotine to become addicted. So this one-time device. But if you look at this, this is 6,000 puffs versus 6,000 inhales. Why is that important? We know that nicotine is addictive. We know in the brain's receptor sites that it's just as addictive as alcohol, cocaine, or heroin. Okay, so yes, all of us probably know someone who uses traditional tobacco products, and when it's 5 degrees outside, they're outside smoking cigarettes. And when it's going to be 110 degrees outside, they'll be outside smoking cigarettes. So lots of teachers or administrators get frustrated with young people and say, why would they be so stupid to bring these products in if they know there's going to be negative things that happen to them? The answer is very simple. They are addicted to it, and they do not realize that they cannot make it throughout the whole day without hitting that pain. Just some other things that are out there so you kind of know what our young people are up against. We do have tons of celebrities who have purchased products and have their name on it. I'm not picking on Snoop Dogg, but that's his brand. Okay, and we do know that young people are drawn to celebrity endorsed things. This one here is for young girls in particular, I'm sure. It's being touted as a dietary aid. Right on the box it says lose weight and curb cravings. So don't eat a cupcake, just vape it. This here looks like an albuterol inhaler. That's actually a vape for $65 online. Legally, young people can carry albuterol inhalers. This is a new one that's becoming super popular right now. It's the size of a credit card, not very thick. They can stick it in their wallets. The mouth tips on the corner, the charger's on the side. And then finally, we have a company called Vaporware. They're so smart if they only did stuff for different things. But lots of young people like to chew on the strings on hoodies. This is actually a tube. The vape is hidden in the sweatshirt, and instead of it being just the string of a hoodie, it's the tube. So they can inhale. The craziest thing on the Vaporware site that I have seen, and this is what the Vaporware, when you enter it, it says, welcome. By clicking, you're saying you're 21. I hit click, and there it was. There was my verification. The craziest thing on their site that I have seen, they have sneakers, they have everything you can imagine, but it's a drawstring bag that tons of young people like to carry their stuff in. The string is actually a tube, but it's a two-way valve, so you can inhale and then exhale through the tube, so then it goes right into the backpack. And so there would be no clue that anyone was here. Here's the other thing, not expensive. You can get a sweatshirt for about $40. And on clearance, it adds up for $20. Okay, so it's not a ton of money. You're not looking at things that cost $100. I don't want to downplay social media, especially for our middle school students. Social media plays a huge role in it. Any YouTube, I mean, if you don't believe me, Google YouTube, put in vaping tricks. All of these things will come up on how to exhale doing tricks. It's a game for a lot of them. There is actually a Vapor Summit, believe it or not. And in Middlesex County, we have the winner. So his vape shop is pretty popular. And he's kind of like a little local celebrity for people who vape a lot. So again, know that it's out there and they're listening and hearing about it. And there's that diacetyl that I spoke to you about. A long-term consequence of traditional tobacco is emphysema or COPD. That's a long-term consequence. What we're seeing, unfortunately, out of the 51 flavored e-cigarettes, 47 had this chemical in it. It's called popcorn lung because when microwave popcorn first became a thing in the U.S., the factory workers started to have a lung disease that nobody had ever seen before from inhaling that diacetyl. Okay, and that causes your alveola to malfunction and also an increase in mucus in the airways. The scary part of popcorn lung is that we've seen the trend right now, if you start vaping in high school, by the time you're 20 to 21 years old, we're seeing people who are already contracting popcorn lung. This is an irreversible disease. It is a long-term lung disease that you cannot cure. Okay, we're seeing it at a much younger age than, let's say, emphysema or COPD. We're thinking, and again, it's all kind of new, that because it's an aerosol, when they're inhaling it gets deeper into the lungs. Here's some more side effects here. So you asked like how would maybe someone know maybe. Definitely dry mouth, that's that nicotine salt. So if someone's extremely thirsty, can they get dizzy? Yes. Is there a vape cough? Yes, because again it's increasing that mucus in the airways. Dry skin, dry eyes. All of those can be signs. Another thing we're seeing or hearing from emergency room doctors and nurses is that the stomach lining, for whatever reason, is being affected, and there's uncontrollable vomiting that is happening with people who are vaping at high levels. And here's some more signs: that sweet smell, that increased thirst, extra equipment. So all of these are rechargeable. So if you see, this is a charger, this is a charger, this is a charger. If you start seeing weird chargers laying around that don't kind of seem to be for a phone, that would probably be a telltale sign that there's a device somewhere. This wire and list would be more like this, which is a customizable piece, which has an arm tip. Believe it or not, this came from a Middletown high school. When I do my Project Plus, when administrators don't want it, they give it to them, and I get it to add to my arsenal. So this one came from your hometown, just so you might be here. But this is probably like $80 at a vape shop. It's a pretty expensive one. And then here are some signs of nicotine poisoning. Okay. And we also know that in the brain's reward system, nicotine also pings for other drugs, things like methamphetamine and cocaine. It makes that more pressure for the brain. So we're not just looking at nicotine, we're looking at other things that could be mentioned. Any other questions about vaping? Sure.
We can have like a general question answer at the end of the presentation? Or
Sure, if you want, but you can ask now if it's something about vaping, because we're going to move on to concentrates, so.
I'll hold it to the end.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. All right, so marijuana, not pro against, legal or not, just so you understand, March 25th, our state voted, it did not go through for recreational marijuana as of today. It is not a voter's choice, it is a legislative decision, just so you understand that also. So you really don't have any say except for reaching out to a legislator for or against to tell them what you feel that they should do. Okay, we did change, just last week it changed, our medical marijuana bill changed. So that now we have 5 dispensaries, it actually is going to go up, so that was part of the new law. The registration fee went down $100, so more people could register to be more affordable. And what you can get diagnosed with to be able to get medical marijuana also changed. Just giving you that because that just happened last week, so you kind of have an idea. Okay. I put this up here because Massachusetts is probably the closest state that we have that's legal to us. Know that if someone goes to Massachusetts, buys or purchases, and then crosses state lines, they can be charged with distribution and transporting just because it's legal in a state does not mean it's a federally legal substance, and so you can be charged. Because lots of young people or adults ask that. If you go there and use legally and you come to New Jersey and you get drug tested, if you were legal there to use, you are not legal here to use, you can still lose your job. Okay, so let's just put that out there. We look at a lot of statistics from Colorado when we're looking at where we might be if we become a recreational marijuana state. So we use Colorado because that was the first state that was legal. So right now, so you kind of understand where we're at, Colorado youth ranked #1 in the nation for past month marijuana use, and it's 55% higher than the national average. So why do you ask how that could be? Because it will just be accessible. If you don't have it in your home, your neighbor or their friend might have it in their home. So let's talk edibles for a minute, because if we become a recreational marijuana state, we also become an edible state. In Colorado, please understand that there is anything you can imagine as an edible. You can even get spaghetti sauce. That's THC infused. Okay? Colorado did not have a lot of things put in place. They just changed the law this year. Any edible in Colorado has a big red triangle on it now because they saw so many young people being poisoned and older adults being poisoned. THC, when it's ingested, affects you much differently than we know now. So let me explain. How many of you have ever had Hershey bar? Great. If I was to hand them out, you probably like me a lot better right now, but if I was to hand them out, how many of you would only eat 1 square? Your face is great. Okay. So here, she said, what's the point? Here we go. When we're talking about THC-infused things, serving size really does matter. So, in a THC-infused candy bar, 1 square would be 10 to 15 milligrams of THC, which is equivalent to a joint of. A whole bar would be 100 milligrams of THC. When you inhale THC, it affects you pretty quickly. When you ingest it, it can take up to an hour. So, if someone is taking it to feel an effect, and in a half hour does not feel anything, what will most people do? Take another one, and now you have 200 milligrams of THC going through your body, and your body cannot process it quick enough, and then you start to poison yourself. Okay? Just 2 days ago, in Massachusetts, there was a big article. There were 3 older adults, in their 60s, early 70s, who went to Massachusetts, bought edibles, went out to a restaurant, and all 3 of them went down to the restaurant because they had poisoned their body from the edible that they had ingested, without realizing the side effects. So again, just understand that it definitely affects you differently than it does. So lots of big argument for kids is you cannot overdose with marijuana. The way that I explain it is there's an effect level and a lethal, and that window for marijuana is very, very big. Heroin, very small. Edibles, much, and concentrates, much smaller. So here's the concentrates. They come in tons of different ways. This one here is an oil, butane hash oil, Chinese oil. This one's called 420 vape juice. 420 is slang for marijuana, if you did not know that. 420 is national smoke, I think. Okay. It happened to be at a Saturday, so most schools have to do it. But sometimes in school they have to do it. This one here is butter. This is wax. And this is shatter. The best way for me to explain shatter is if you took a Jolly Rancher and we threw it on the ground, the little pieces will break off. It's tiny, like stained glass looking pieces. All of these are used in vape devices. They can be used in traditional oil rigs, kind of like you can take with a traditional bong. You will see they're obviously much bigger, harder to control. You need a torch, which is a flame. It's much easier for people to use in, their vape devices. They hide these in the Burt's Beeswax lips container, so that it just looks like if you're in my age category, hightimes.com is a magazine. We've upped our game now, it's a YouTube channel. And why I share that with you is that every young person who watches YouTube has access to anything that they want, how to make drugs, how to make edibles, how to take traditional THC with household things and create your own. There's tons of stuff on there, but High Times is directly linked to anything marijuana related. Okay? And young people have access to it. Let's go back to the concentrates. What have we seen? In Monmouth County, an eighth grader in November went into the bathroom. She thought it was a regular vape device. She took a couple of inhales, went back to class. Within 5 minutes, nauseous and dizzy. Within 10 minutes down to the nurse, she was unresponsive. So then 40 minutes at the crisis center to get her stable, and when they tested her THC level was extremely high. If somebody is using concentrates, it will not be a normal urine stream. The THC level will be extremely high. In a private school in Ocean County, we had a young girl who went to the bathroom, high school student, take a couple hits, again, thought it was vape fluid. She automatically blacked out, hit her face on the bathroom floor, and broke her nose and went unconscious. And in a high school in Monmouth County, we had a young man use a concentrate, and the side effects are much different. Very anxious, paranoid, having panic, that he had to be restrained and taken out of the police force. So understand those side effects are not traditional THC side effects. So I'm going to show you real quick. You can click on that one link. This is hightimes.com. I want you to kind of see what's out there for young people. And she's super excited to teach him, so.
Hi there, this is Allie, High Times concentrate correspondent. Over the last few years, concentrates have become the biggest thing to happen in pop culture since, well, pot. But as the popularity of dabs continues to grow, so are questions about the many forms these concentrates can take. All concentrates are made through a process called extraction, where marijuana's main ingredients are concentrated into an essential oil. The main 3 solvents used to create dabs are butane, CO2, and ISO, isopropyl alcohol. After extraction, the resulting dabs can look very different. Today, we're taking a closer look at the 3 main types of concentrates: shatter, butter, and oil. Oil is a gooey, sticky liquid that can be kind of hard to handle, while butter has a creamier consistency from being whipped. Finally, shatter is smooth, clear, and solid. All 3 can be used in vape pens and oil rigs, but finding the right concentrate for you is a matter of preference. Shatter is the purest and most potent form because it involves a second extraction process that removes fats, lipids, and waxes. This can result in over 80% THC. However, it also means that some of those tasty terpenes are removed. Terpenes are responsible for marijuana's unique smell. Combined with THC, terpenes create the flavor of the pod or concentrate you're smoking. Butter retains more terpenes, so it tends to be more flavorful but less potent, with THC percentages in the 70s. Oil tends to be the least refined of the 3. This form, also known as honey oil or butane hash oil, can retain a full flavor profile. However, THC levels are generally less consistent. Unfortunately, availability often determines what type of concentrate you smoke, but hopefully this little guide helps those lucky enough to have a choice. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned to hightimes.com for more dab-related content, including how to select the nail and the rig.
So excited. Okay, so the other thing I want you to see here is what is called a dabber. I know we all say dabbing this way, but dabbers are just a transportation tool for the concentrate into a device. Why is that important? Because it is considered drug paraphernalia. Know that often it just looks like kind of a nail or a silver, but again, just so you're aware of what's out there, this is a traditional dum-dum lollipop, and if this was on somebody's desk or, you know, in their bag, you might just think they're disgusting, they didn't throw it out. This is actually a dabber. Okay, so these are the things that are out there to kind of conceal what they're really doing. That was bought at a vape shop for about $10. Those pesticides that they're using, those chemicals to create that extraction process, they're not all burnt off in the extraction process, so we know that they're also being contaminated and inhaled. We do know that there's an increased potential for withdrawal and abuse because those THC levels are much higher than traditional marijuana. And the side effects, paranoia, anxiety, suicidal ideation, suicidal completions, all have been more common with concentrates than traditional THC products. Synthetic marijuana, fake marijuana, potpourri, they call it herbal, smelling. They have different names that they all call it plant food. Some of the kids call it plant food. The best way for me to explain this to you is, how many of you have had sugar? And then sweet and low, Splendid, Equal, whichever one you want to use, right? They're all just synthetic chemical compounds of sugar. So once a chemical is used in these products, back at the lab, once the DEA says that that chemical component is illegal, back at the lab they take that component out and they put another chemical compound in, and it's a constant revolving door. This is not THC, this is not marijuana, it's a plant-based material overseas that is sprayed with chemicals to mimic highs. It is not a high of traditional street drugs. If you ask me, bath salts, synthetic marijuana, the high is probably the scariest high I've ever seen. Within 10 minutes they normally self-defecate. Very much a dark high. Aliens and demons and self-mutilation is much more common. Suicidal ideation and completion is much more common. Police say it takes 4 to 5 of them to normally take down someone who is high on these synthetic drugs because the chemical components are very good. Why is that important for you guys in this room? We've seen a huge increase in the state of New Jersey with this. Here's the other thing. If you have your random drug testing of your athletes or people who are involved in sports, or you have kids that are maybe academically or afraid that if they use, they'll lose something, this will not come up on your notes. Because there is no THC or no marijuana. It is just chemicals. Why is that also important? We know that it's being cut with some pretty scary things out there. In New York City, this past summer, it was cut with rat poison. Okay, so it was causing internal bleeding to death. In Connecticut, in August of 2018, we had 78 overdoses in one day, right outside of Yale. It's called the Green, there's a green park there. It was cut with fentanyl. Okay. You do not know what fentanyl is. Fentanyl is a drug that normally is cut with heroin. When we see rashes of overdoses, it's because of the fentanyl. Please hear me. I'm going to say this to you, and you can put it in the back of your head. Fentanyl is taking over the state of New Jersey. It will be in everything.